Hey everybody, I'm Den Haring. Welcome back to my channel, Fish Den 365. You know, recently I was watching a video with Steve Rogers Outdoors, and he was showing a number of different stick baits, soft plastic stick baits, like the Senko. And he was showing how they work on a wacky rig. And one of the things that he showed that got my interest was when he got to the elaztek type baits. They float, and so just rigging them with a hook, wacky style, it really doesn't do much. You know, it just goes down and it doesn't wiggle. There really wasn't much to it. It didn't look good in the water. It looked dead. But when he tried a 1/16 ounce jig with that wacky rig, everything changed. He was showing an elaztek stick bait 4 or 5 inches long, and with that 1/16 ounce jig, the bait would be doing this as it's going down in the water. It looked really good to me, and that got me thinking, because he was saying, you know, experiment with other baits, experiment with different weights. You can see the fall rates change, and you know, there are all these different baits out there. So I thought, well, if I put something like that jig on a different profile bait like this jerk shad, will it work? Will it also have that enticing wiggle as it sinks down? And so I set about finding that out, and that's what today's video is about. So we're going to show you footage here of how these things work. We're going to show them to you in the water, but from the camera being out of the water. So if you like this video, and if you would like to see underwater footage, then let me know, and I'll see what I can do to get some underwater footage for you as well. But I think you'll get the gist of how these baits worked. I was pretty impressed with some of these different baits, some more than others. So the first one that we did, and we're going to go to the water right now and show you, was the 4-inch scented jerk shad Z. This is by Z-Man, and you take a look at this. Okay, so this is the scented jerk shad Z. See how this falls in the water? Very much like the death spiral. Look at that. Yeah, that looks good. Wow. The next bait that we tried was the Big TRD, another floating bait by Z-Man. This is the Big TRD right here. This is a peanut butter and jelly color. And we tried with the 1/16 ounce jig. Take a look at the action when we did that. So here's a Big TRD. We'll try that one. See how that looks. This is a 4-inch Big TRD. Let's go ahead and put this right through there. Right through the side like this, so that when it goes down, this way when the jig is going down, the dark side, back of it, will be facing up. See how that looks in the water in a minute. Alright, so let's take a look at this guy now. Oh yeah. Oh, take a look at the action on this bait. It works. Look at that. Look at that wiggle on the fall. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's got a real nice wiggle on the fall there. Look at that. Slow fall, but very nice action. Yeah, that looks good down there. All right. Now, out of curiosity, we also did it with a different bait that Z-Man makes. It still has this elaztek. It's very windy today, so I apologize if it's making a lot of noise. Still has this elaztek stretch to it, but this actually sinks. This is called the Zinger Z. Or Zinger Z. So this actually, if you would just to wacky rig this thing, it would sink, because it's heavily impregnated with salt and whatever else to make it sink. But I tried it with the 1/16 ounce just to see what that would look like, and we'll show you that here. All right, so this is a different one. This is the Zinger Z, so this actually sinks to begin with. Let's see how this looks out there. This is a 5-inch bait. So we'll put the jig head on this guy and see how the Zinger Z looks here in the water. So it sinks faster because it's meant to sink, but it does have that very nice action to it. So this is one where you can get it down faster because it sinks and still have that nice action to it. It just will go down faster in case you want to fish deeper water. It still looks good. Look at that action going down. Very nice. Next up, we took a 5-inch scented jerk Shad Z in perch color. This is a 5-inch bait, and we wondered, well, how will this act in the water? And we hooked it in a number of different areas. We tried it in the middle, we tried it up near the gill, we tried it down near the tail, and we'll show you how that looks right now. Now this one is a 5-inch jerk shad. Let's see how this looks in the water. This is a good perch color jerk shad here. 5-inch jerk shad. And we're gonna go the way we did that other one, right here. We'll see how that looks. That's got a wobble to it. I think I like the 4-inch better though. There, now it's wobbling. Gotta try changing where we're hooking this. It might be better a little farther up. Right there. Let's try that. Gotta find that pivot point. Yeah, that wobbles more now. Try a couple other hook angles here, just out of curiosity. Come way up here near the gill. See what that does. That has a forward-facing fall to it now. It still has a pretty good look to it, and it still wiggles pretty good. Kind of like that. Does death spiral too. Boy, lots to experiment with here. We're going to try near the back just to see what that does. Real slow fall there. That really slows the fall. But it looks good. We also took the Finesse TRD. This is only 2.75 inches. And I was curious to see how this would work with that same 1/16 ounce jig. Let's take a look at it now. Alright, so this is standard 2.75 inch Finesse TRD. I don't know if this will work because it's so short. It's a pretty small bait, but we'll see if this also wiggles like those bigger ones do. This will be interesting because if it does, this could be a good bait for certain applications with smallmouths. Oh, yeah, it does. Look at that. It goes down a little faster because it's smaller, but it has a good wobble to it. I could see where maybe a 1/16 ounce would be better for this. This goes down faster because it's smaller, but it has a nice action, especially on the lift. Not bad. And then lastly, I grabbed a different brand's bait. This is the Zinger Z2 made by Strike King. It's also got that stretchy elaztek type of construction. And we hooked this a couple of different ways, and we'll show you that right now. Next up is the Zinger Z2 by Strike King. Will be interesting as well. This Arkansas Shiner color. Let's see how this looks in the water. Yeah, looks pretty good too. Okay, well hopefully you got to see how they reacted in the water. The two that I was most impressed with was the 4-inch Jerk Shad Z. This really had a nice little action and had a little glide to it, but it also had that death wiggle to it. Looked really good. I'm gonna mess around with that presentation with the 16-ounce jig under boat docks and that kind of thing, because I think it'll really catch fish for me. And then the other one that really impressed me was the 4-inch, the Big TRD. This had a really great action as it was going down, and when you lifted it up it would do this as well. It looked really good. Some other thoughts about what we did is that when we tried it on the regular finesse TRD, I didn't get that same wiggle as it went down. It was more of a glide. It was more of a glide this way and then glide that way. It wasn't a bad look, it just didn't have that wiggle. But when we lifted it up, it did. It would have that wiggle when we pop it back up. So I could see that catching fish. But I think I will try this sometime with a 1/32 ounce, half that jig size, half of the 1/16, 1/32, and see if that doesn't make this thing a little bit more lively as it goes down. Because if it does, this could be a really good smallmouth presentation when they're pressured. But these other baits look good too. The 5-inch yellow perch, I liked the look of it when I hooked it the right way. It would have a nice look, and you know, it had a really slow fall, and it just looked like it was injured or sick. So I can see these catching fish as well. The Zinger Z, because it sank when I threw the 16-ounce jig on this, it went down. It had action. It just went down faster. So if you needed to get the bait down faster, if the fish were looking for more of a reaction strike with a faster fall, this might work too. But like I said, the ones that impressed me the most, and they really did impress me, was the 4-inch Jerk Shad and then the Big TRD. And I'll be planning to do some videos fishing these this way in the not too distant future, and hopefully show you some decent results that way. Well, that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got something out of it. It's interesting how these baits become completely different when you add the right weight to them. You know, because they float, they have a different action than a regular Senko or one of the other brands soft plastic stick baits. But it doesn't mean that these don't have their place, because if you do the right thing with these, they actually become livelier than the others. And because it's elaztek, these baits last. You can catch multiple fish, 10, 20, 30 fish on these things, and still catch more, depending on, you know, how bad they're getting beat up. They just take a lot of abuse. And so that's the other nice thing. And because they're elastic, you could just put the hook right through them, right through the bait. I don't have to put an O-ring on the you know, on the Big TRD like you might want to do on a Senko. Just put it right through, and because of this material, this stretch material, it just holds the hook really well. So that's something that saves some time, a little bit more efficient. I could see myself taking this bait, putting 2 black dots where the eyes would be, and maybe a red gill mark on here, and fishing it that way, and just throwing it around docks and stuff like that. I think it'll catch fish. Can't wait to test it out and see how it works. So if you liked the video, please give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see an interesting video about power drop shotting a beaver, take a look at this one right here. In the meantime, be safe out there. Hope to see you on the water, and as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.